and then I'll get started. So that should be us now. So good evening, everybody. As I said before, my name is Fraser Morrison. I'm the Company Programmes and Digital Delivery Manager here at Young Enterprise Scotland, and I will be leading this session for you this evening. You're probably sick of all the emails that you've had from me over the course of the last few months telling you about deadlines and upcoming events and training, but you're so close to the end of the programme here this year that I'm delighted to see so many on the call tonight. What I want to cover tonight is I'm going to talk you through the guidance notes for the company presentation and the company interview. Make sure you know exactly what we're looking for, and I'll give you some top tips on how to use PowerPoint in terms of how to actually record your presentation if you've never had to do that before, and show you how all of that works, and an opportunity for an open Q&A if any of you have got any questions for me. Okay, so that is the purpose of tonight's session. Now, I am going to share my screen. So let's see if this all works. Hopefully you can now see my screen okay. So what I'm showing you here is this is the Student Company of the Year guidance documentation. Now, every team should have access to this. It's on Y Online. It's been sent out to your business advisors and been sent out to your centre leads. So if you've never seen this document before, please, straight after this call, get in touch with your centre lead or your business advisor, or send me an email at companyprogram@yes.org.uk, and we will send you over a copy of this document. This is the most crucial document you're going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks as you prepare for all of your submissions for the company programme finals. Now, the second page is really, really important. It shows you the 4 key elements of success. This is the judging criteria. So this is what the judges are going to have when they're judging your report, your presentation, and your interview this year. So just a reminder, and I'll tell you throughout the session, the deadline is the 19th of March for all submissions at 5 o'clock. So that is 2 weeks on Friday. So 2 weeks tomorrow, all of your submissions need to be into the company programme at yes.org.uk email address. Now, you're judged on all 4 of these elements across all 3 of those categories. We're looking at the enterprise, running your enterprise, team journey, and impact and legacy. Now, as you'll see, there are 5 criteria for each of these. And each of those 5 criteria all have questions to help you understand a little bit better about what we are actually looking for in the evidence, okay? This document goes into a lot of detail. I'm not going to talk through it all tonight because you have the opportunity to read that, and hopefully you'll have all read this, and this will be just me recapping it for you. The evidence portfolio, that's what you actually have to submit. So hopefully, those of you, I recognise some names on the screen, so that you will have attended the student company report session we ran last week about writing your company report. If you didn't, and if you've got any questions about that, feel free to say them to the end, and I'm happy to go over a couple of questions if you have any. But the 2 things we're here to talk about tonight are the recorded team interview, worth 30% of your overall marks, and the company presentation, worth another 30%. So what we're talking about tonight is 60% of your overall marks, which is obviously a huge proportion. So we'll start off with the team recorded interview. So we've provided you in this document with a series of interview questions in advance, all about your experiences, your achievements, and your learning. We expect you to record your answers into a short video, and it's up to you how you do this, okay? It can just be one member of your team, or it can be the whole team via a recorded Microsoft Teams or Zoom session or Google Hangouts, whatever you use that you can record yourselves talking on. You can do it on that, or you might want to have everyone record their questions on their phone and stitch them together on some sort of video editing tool. Whatever's up to you, whatever works. There's no time limit on these, so just until you feel like you've answered the questions and you've said everything you want to say in response to those questions, okay? Does that make sense so far? Remember to use the chat. If you've got any questions while I'm talking, please do just fire them into the chat. Is anybody worried about this interview portion?
The chat's disabled for some of us.
Will you say that again, sorry?
Basically, the chat is disabled for some people.
Ah, right, okay. I didn't realise the chat was disabled for some people. It worked okay on Tuesday. All right. Well, if you've got any questions, feel free to come on microphone, and I'm happy for that as well. Sorry that you're unable to get involved in the chat. So the team interview, I'm also going to show you this page. These are the 7 questions. Okay. So on page 4 of this documentation, here they are here. We want you to, 1, describe your business and what you do in a couple of sentences. That just helps the judges understand a bit more about your business. Question 2, what makes your business unique and stand out from the crowd? So what we're really looking for here is why your business deserves to be highlighted here. Why do you deserve to win? Because something that makes you different from the rest of your competitors, either in your market or the other young enterprise teams. What makes you different? 3, digital is now a big part of how business operates. How have or would you have integrated digital into how you run your enterprise? Because we understand, due to COVID, you might not have been able to achieve everything that you set out to achieve at the start of the year, and that is absolutely fine. But we just need you to understand that digital is really important. So how have you or how would you integrate that into your enterprise? Question 4, what skills have you developed as part of company program that will help what you'll be able to use in other parts of your life? So what we're talking about there is those employability, or sometimes referred to as transferable skills. How can you tell me what you've developed and how are you going to use that in other parts of your life? Really tell us a story there. That's what we're looking for. Question 5, what difference has your enterprise made to the lives of your customers, to the local community, or to the environment? That's all about impact. And talking about impact is really important because we want to understand just how much of a difference you and your business has made and how you came to make those decisions about how you would decide exactly how you wanted to make an impact on customers' lives, the local community, or to the wider environment. Question 6, how did COVID affect your business operations and what, if anything, did you do to work around this? So we understand that every business on the company programme this year, regardless of what region you're in, up and down Scotland and indeed across the whole of the UK and the rest of the world, because the company programme is a worldwide competition, that COVID will have affected your business in some way. We want to know what you did to help overcome some of those challenges that were presented. Now that can be from the product or service you decided to create. It could be how you communicate with the rest of your team, how you kept up team morale, how you actually altered your product or service as a result of COVID, maybe about delivery, completely up to you. Tell us what you did in response to COVID. Question 7, what was the most important or valuable thing that you have learned as a team throughout this journey? So that's what we're really important to find out here is we want to look at your team journey, understand exactly what's been happening, and tell us what you've learned. And that could be anything. It could be completely different for everybody involved in the team. This might be something that maybe one individual's gone on a particularly significant journey and this program's really helped them. A couple of different options there, but we're going to leave that up to you to tell us what the most valuable thing is. Any questions so far? Please stick them in the chat or feel free to come off mic and ask me at this stage before I move on to the presentation. I'll just hold for a couple of seconds if somebody's trying to type or you're trying to ask a question. I'm going to take the radio silence to mean that I've been so understanding and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Excellent. All right, so going back now then to the presentation. So as it says here in this document which you've all got, you'll be asked to record a digital presentation of no longer than 4 minutes and with up to 5 members of your team. Now the easiest way to do this is via a narrated PowerPoint. Now I've actually hyperlinked that in that PDF into a really useful guide online about how to record a narrated PowerPoint. So I'd highly recommend having a look at that if that's what you're going to do. I had contact from a couple of schools in Grampian who use Google Slides as part of the Google Classroom. That's absolutely fine, and there's ways to record narrated presentations on there too. They've sent me a test one over, and it works absolutely fine on all of our machines. So if you use Google Slides, absolutely fine, as long as you can record either audio or video over it, completely up to you. But it's important to remember that the presentation should demonstrate how your enterprise has been successful, especially focusing on your team journey. Speak about what motivated your team to set up the enterprise, the highs and lows of your journey, and reflect on what you've learned. Because for those of you who have heard me talk before on any of these training sessions or as part of the launch will understand that I did the company program 7 years ago now, I think it was, when I was in your shoes preparing my presentation. And it was really easy for us to talk about all the amazing things that we did and how proud we were of our achievements. But what was the most important thing to the judges was that actually we talked about the things that didn't work. And we told them exactly how those things helped us as a team to grow and develop, and how we were able to move on and learn from those. That's about our journey. Okay, so that's my top tip. Don't just tell us about all the incredible, amazing things. Obviously, tell us about those too. We love to hear them. But it's the highs and the lows, because we realise that that is a realistic life as a young entrepreneur. Practice makes perfect. Please practice your presentation as a team. Could be in front of an audience if you're able to join a Teams call or a Zoom call or a Google Classroom call with your business advisor or your link teacher to give you some advice on your feedback on the actual presentation. That would be helpful. Or people in your home, whoever you're living with, wherever you are stuck around the country just now, get advice. Don't just jump in and think you'll record it in 2 minutes and just send it in if you want to get the best marks and have the best chance of going on to compete for your region at the Scottish finals. A note, please do not infringe intellectual property or copyright, so only use music, images or video that you have permission to use. Okay, that's a really important one. And again, you're being judged on these 4 key elements of success. Okay, so refer back to those when you're trying to think about what you want to talk about, what you want to write about. Look back in these guidance notes. Deadlines for all of these, as I've said before, as I will say again, Friday the 19th of March at 5 p.m. is when I need all of these submitted. How to submit your evidence, this box here tells you exactly how to do it. So please, all evidence, that's report, presentation, recorded interview, should be sent to companyprogram@yes.org.uk by 5 p.m. on Friday the 19th of March. If your files are too large, which your PowerPoint or whichever presentations slide you're going with may be, please consider sending via file transfer sites such as WeTransfer or Dropbox. There are others out there. If you're going to be sending them things like that, you might want to not send me it at 4:59, because if there's an issue with it, I need to send all of these resources onto your judging panel so we can get them judged in advance of the regional finals going live at the end of April. If you have any questions or support over the next 2 and a bit weeks, please do contact us on companyprogram@yes.org.uk or contact your regional representatives and they will help you out, because some regions have got slightly different plans for the regional finals than what you're expected to do. So please do get in touch. There's no harm in asking the questions, even if it's just to clarify. Much rather you clarified and got things right and weren't panicking than you were just sitting there confused. And obviously, we're on the session tonight. Get any questions after I've finished this, going over all of the guidance, please do type in the chat, jump on your microphone, and I'm happy to answer your questions for you. Just remember, this last page here is all about building skills. So taking part in this competition, and hopefully over the last just under a year, you've been developing all these skills of communication and teamwork and all those interpersonal skills that we're asking to talk about and part of your learning journey. 5 top tips. Prepare. Jot down everything your team has met, all 4 elements of success and bullet points before you start preparing your report, presentation, or interview. And I hope you'll already have started that process by now, given the deadline is coming up in 2 weeks. But if you haven't, look through those bullet pointed lists to get some top tips. Practice, please do practice your interviews and presentations with your team. That will just give you the best chance at feeling confident, ready to prepare and come across as best as you can to the judges. Be creative. Please do add your logos, photos and images to your report and presentation. We do like seeing them. It helps give a bit of personality to your report and presentation. It makes it interesting for the judges to see, because obviously they're not having a chance to meet you in person. So all they have to go on is the evidence that you submit. Be organised. Make sure that you've submitted your report and presentation by the deadlines given to you by your Y representative. That's me. I have given you the deadline. For once again, it is Friday the 19th of March at 5 p.m. to companyprogram@yes.org.uk. Most importantly though, it's have fun. This is not a scary process. You should really enjoy telling your story as part of the interview questions or as part of your presentation. The judges are here and are fascinated to find out about your story. I can't wait to read all the reports that come in and watch your presentations and listen to your interviews, because you've all got a really interesting story to tell, especially this year due to COVID and how you've responded and what you've been up to. We're really, really, really interested. So the last thing I want to show you before I kind of open the floor to questions is PowerPoint itself and exactly how to record. So I've got a presentation here, which just happens to be the thing I've just shown you. So if you're using PowerPoint, which I know a lot of you will be, in the top bar on slideshow, there's a button which allows you to record your slideshow. Okay. Now, if you click on this, I'll give you a couple of options. So I'm just going to show you that now. Hopefully you can still see my screen okay with the record button up in the top corner. PowerPoint gives you a couple of options here, and it's completely up to you what you choose to do. So you can either record an audio narration over the top of your PowerPoint, or you can record an audio and video. So that's just using your webcam. Now, I can't show you that just now because my webcam's obviously in use on Microsoft Teams talking to you, so it won't show up in PowerPoint. But in these buttons at the very bottom here, you can turn on and off your audio, turn on and off your camera, and the preview. You'll pop up in a little box just in the bottom corner here so that the judges could see you giving your presentation sitting at your computer. You don't have to do that. If you just want to do an audio narration, that's absolutely fine too. Now, you're only able to record audio like per slide. So if you're going to have multiple people presenting, you're just going to have to work out how logistically you're going to manage to arrange that. But you can re-record slide by slide. Literally just a case of pressing the record button, stopping, replaying, and you can clear and edit any of this as well. However, what I would recommend is reading over the guidance notes, which are here, and clicking on this link to view the narrated PowerPoint guidance. Okay, that's why we put it in there to give you a little bit of an extra helping hand. So that, in a nutshell, in a whistle-stop tour in 25 minutes, is what we are expecting from your recorded team interview and your recorded presentation, which is worth 60%. Okay. If you've got any questions, please do stick them into the chat, or feel free to come off microphone and yes, oh, there's a question. Perfect. Can you go into intellectual property images a bit further? For example, what images can definitely not be used? So if you're using images, anything you've taken yourself is absolutely fine. If you're using things off like other brands that you don't have access to, you don't have the intellectual property to, you really shouldn't be using them unless you've got permission to do so from the company. If you're looking for stock images, you can find royalty-free images online. You really shouldn't just be going into Google and finding images off other websites if you don't own them or they're not royalty-free. So that's what we mean by intellectual property, in particular music and videos as well. If you want to use music in your presentation, please just be careful about that. Okay. Question from Jane. Do team presentations have to use PowerPoint, or can teams just talk straight to camera? So the reason we've asked for PowerPoint is just so there's a visual representation of your company. So we can see your branding, because that's quite an important part of it. This will help when we come to the brand and identity part of your enterprise. You can show that quite easily without having to describe it. However, if you do have an issue using PowerPoint and you're unable to do so, please do let us or your local area team know, and they will be able to advise you on that. Props and products can show branding. They absolutely can. What I can say is you can take pictures of your own products and props and put them into your presentation as well. If you are going to be recording your presentation through Novation, you can record with video. So you can have your PowerPoint and it's a video of you in the corner doing the speaking, and if you want to share that, then that's absolutely fine. It's completely up to teams. I appreciate people might not feel comfortable being on camera, so that's why we're being very flexible this year, as you would usually get up and stand on a stage to give your presentation. Another question, where did you say you have to put the guidance to recording? So the guidance for this is in this PDF document. It's on this hyperlink here on page 3 in the presentation. All right. Now, if you're going to be recording, please do give yourself plenty of time to practice, record it, try sending it to someone, make sure it opens, make sure they can hear it okay, make sure that they can move in between. All right. A question for who missed this meeting in the last one. I've recorded this session and it'll be going live on our YouTube channel, just as much as the ICAST training session from Tuesday night is on YouTube as well. It went up about an hour ago. So that's helping you understand your financial statements for writing your company report.
Hello there. I've got a question.
Sure.
For the recorded team interview, you just for that, do you just like get a camera and just film yourself going through the questions?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you can do that on a phone, or you can do it on a webcam. Any format that kind of suits. It's what we're keen to see is you talking about your business and being able to kind of show the judges your enthusiasm. The one thing I have said there is remember that it's worth 30% of your overall mark. So try and make a video as professional as possible. When I say that, you know, it's just about like having a nice clear background if you can, making yourself looking presentable. As a business interview at the end of the day, how would you have turned up to your interview if it was in person with a panel of judges? It's the same way you should prepare for your video interview as well.
Aye, thanks.
No worries. Any other questions about anything I've spoken about tonight, or anything else I can help you with about the company programme or preparations for your regional finals submissions in 2 weeks' time? When conducting the interview, is the unlimited number of members that can participate? Can teacher lead Google Meet asking questions and the company answer them whilst recording? Absolutely. Yep. So if you want to record a Teams meeting or a Google Meet, and that's how you want to submit it, that is absolutely fine. Unlimited members, yeah, it can be the whole team. If you want to chip in and add those things on, absolutely fine. That's why we've not put a time limit on it, just because we appreciate it might be one person, it might be several people. Oh, that's a really good question about the small company video for 1 minute. When's that due? So that's actually due at the same time. So thanks very much for bringing that up, Miss McPhee. As part of the regional finals, now this isn't judged. This is not going to your judges. What we're using this for is, as part of the virtual online events, we're going to be showcasing who all the companies are that are competing for each region. So we're asking you to submit a short video, no longer than a minute, introducing your company and telling us a little bit about your product or journey. Now, that can be the whole team or it can just be an individual. It's completely up to you. All we'd ask is that they are a landscape, but recording that on a phone is absolutely fine. And remember who you're talking to. This is your audience, general public. It's not your judges. It's all your friends and family, the other people in your region, the other schools. This is perhaps and probably the very first time you have had a chance to showcase your business to them. So in that minute, just tell us a little bit about your company and what you do. But again, if we can have those in by the 19th, that allows us to just prepare those all the video. We're pulling together 15 different regional finals, all to go out over the course of 3 days in April. So it's going to take us a bit of time to do that. So the sooner we have all that stuff in, the better for us. Any other questions? It doesn't look like it. So I just want to say a huge thank you for giving up your time this evening to come and find out a bit more about the interview and presentation. If you do have any other questions over the course of the next 2 weeks, please do email us on companyprogram@yes.org.uk and one of the team will get back to you as quick as we can. If you do have any questions, I'm going to stop the recording now and I'm going to stay on the call. So if anybody wants to ask me anything else, please do feel free to hang around. But if not, thank you very much for coming and all the very best of luck for preparing your submissions for the finals. Thank you.